sixth graders. In our last lesson, we were looking at how do we use ratio tables to find equivalent ratios. And we saw that we just moved from the first ratio, the initial ratio, to the next box, or to fill in the box that it has the missing number using the information that's given to us. Today we're going to look at how do we use the ratio tables then to compare the data. So what we're going to do today is we're going to be looking at two different sets of data, and we're going to use them to compare and answer questions. So for example, let's say that I have a box of crackers. And in my box of crackers, I want to know which box has the most salt per serving. Well, I can look at the information that's given to me and use it to compare. So let's say that in box A, I have 75 grams of sodium. So we're going to put sodium first. And it's being compared to how many crackers that we eat. So 75 grams of sodium for 12 crackers. Okay, so and then the number they want us to look for is when we have 24. In box B, let's use a different color. In box B, I have again sodium compared to the crackers that I eat. Okay, and when I eat 20 grams of sodium for 3 crackers. So box A, let's take a look at box A and see how do we get from 12 to 24. Well, I know to get from 12 to 24, I am going to multiply by 2. If I don't know that in my head, I can either use my calculator or I can use division, long division. To get from 75 then, to the empty box, I also have to multiply by 2 because we have to keep it equivalent. So I'm going to multiply by 2. So 75 times 2. That is 10, carry the 1, 14, 15. So 150 grams of sodium when I eat 24 crackers. Let's come over here and see what we have to do to make the change over here. So to get from 3 to 24, I have to multiply by 8. So on the top, I'm also going to need to multiply by 8. So I'm going to say 20 times 8, 0, and that's 16 is 160. So which box of crackers is going to have more sodium overall? It's box B. So box B has more sodium. And the reason why is because when I look at this number over 24 and this number also over 24, box B has 160 compared to 150 grams of sodium. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, let's do another comparison of this information. Okay, so let's say that we're frosting cupcakes. Okay, so let's say that we are frosting cupcakes. I'm frosting cupcakes and you are frosting cupcakes. So let's look at frosting cupcakes. All right. When we're frosting cupcakes, we have your frosting and we have my frosting. All right, so your frosting. Your frosting has a couple of different things in it, okay? So you have drops of red and drops of blue. So drops of red and drops of blue. I have drops of red and drops of blue. And we want to know who has the most drops of red and blue when we get to the final comparison of how many drops, so like for our frosting. All right, so let's say that your frosting has a ratio of 1 to 4. So for every for every 4 total drops of frosting, 4 total drops of food coloring, there we go, you have 1 blue. Okay, so let's set this up. So we have a comparison of blue to total color. And that's the drops. So drops of blue versus drops of the total color. Because remember, we're also putting red in there. Okay, so when we have this, we can compare the ratios of blue to total color. So let's say that for every 1 drop of blue, I have 4 drops of color. And I want to know how many drops of blue do I have when I have 16 drops of total color. So let's look at my frosting. So my frosting has my frosting has 3 for 8. So when I'm doing drops of blue compared to total drops, my initial ratio that I start with is 3 to 8. Again, I want to know whose has more blue color in it when we get to 16 drops. So let's go ahead and check this out. So first, instead of going across, because this table is set up as a ratio like this to this and this to this, we're going to go back to how we did finding equivalents 2 lessons ago. So we went from side to side. It's the same thing, it's just our table is set up different. So all the blue drops are here, all the total color drops are in this one. Same over here, all the blue drops, all the total colors. So to get from 4 to 16, we multiplied by 4. So to fill in this box, I have to say 1 times 4 gives me 4. So 4 to 16. All right, let's look over here. How do we get from 8 to 16? Well, we multiply by 2. So on this side, we're going to multiply by 2. Oops, times 2. And 3 times 2 is 6. So my ratio is 4 to 16 or 6 to 16. So who has the most blue drops? My frosting has more blue than red. So that would be Miss Englander's, right? Okay, so we can also rewrite these so that if we're confused about our ratios, we can say 1 to 4, which is also 1 over 4, or you can write it as 4 to 16, which is also 4 over 16. So if you don't like doing it in the table going down, again, rewrite them as fractions to find the value and find the change that way. Over here, I could say 3 to 8 and 6 to 16. And so then I could go 3 over 8, 6 over 16. Either way works when you are comparing. Okay? All right, so right now, Cougars, it's going to be your turn to do a try it. So be sure to get all the rest of this information written down. Let's finish out what we said here. So Miss Englander's, so Miss E's frosting has more blue. And that's because when we both get to 16, I have more drops of blue than you do. Just 2 more. All right. Here is your try it. So your try it says that you are going to be making, what's it called? Lemonade. Okay, so for every 7 ounces of lemonade, you have 3 ounces of water. So lemonade. All right, your lemonade, yours, and then your friends. Okay. So for your lemonade, you have lemonade to water. And the ratio of lemonade to water is 7 to 3. Okay? And your friend has lemonade to water. All right, and their initial ratio is, oops, that's weird. Okay, 11 to 4. Okay, and we want to know who has to use more lemonade when there are 24 ounces of water. Okay, so go ahead and hit pause so you don't hear me solving this. And then when you are done, you may come back and hit play. All right, so how do I get from 3 to 24? Well, I multiply by 8. How do I get from the top then? I need to also multiply by 8 to fill in this box. Well, 7 times 8 is 56. All right, let's do this side. 4 times 6 is 24. So I need to multiply by 6 on the top. 11 times 6 gives me 66. So the ratio of lemonade to water is 56 to 24. Your friend's lemonade is 66 to 24. So the person who uses more lemonade is your friend because it's 66 for 24. So your friend uses more lemonade. It just means that theirs is probably more tart than yours. You probably have sweeter lemonade. Theirs is probably a lot like bite you in the face. lemonade. Okay, so answer your essential question. How do you use ratio tables to compare? So down at the bottom, go ahead and answer your essential question. How do we use ratio tables to compare? And rate yourself out to the side. How are you feeling about using ratio tables, going from one spot to the other and doing some comparison work? 1, I'm still lost because I didn't really understand yesterday's lesson. Maybe you're at a 2. 2, I feel pretty good about this. But I just need some more practice. I know that it's the same thing, just filling in the equivalent spots, but the comparing piece is where I get confused. Or maybe you're a 3. A 3, I totally understand how to find equivalent ratios in a ratio table. I know how to interpret the data to see who has more, who has less, when the numbers at the bottom are the exact same. I just want to do some more practice. So, 6th graders right now, I want to thank you so much for all your hard work and your effort. You may head on over to either the Google Meet to ask for help or to Big Ideas to do your practice work. And as always, Cougars, I thank you for everything that you do, and make it a great day the Cougar way.